Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As always, each and every week, we are joined by Jared. Jared, how in the hell are you?
It's been good. Great Super Bowl Sunday. For me, at least, good Super Bowl Sunday. And then just, I thought it was going to be a nice little peaceful week, for us Steeler fans. Unfortunately, until this morning, not so. I'm sure we'll talk about it here soon, very shortly.
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't, look at the title.
Yeah.
But first, like you said, we did have a game on Sunday, the big one, the Super Bowl. Before we ask, we have to hit the hard-hitting questions. What were your thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar?
It was okay. Could have been better. Personally, the song choices. If you're not like a diehard Kendrick Lamar fan, like a casual like me, like I'm a fan, but I'm not like deep into Kendrick Lamar.
Pause.
Chill out. Pause.
Pause.
Anyways, but you got to play for the crowd for entertainment. It wasn't that entertaining to me personally. It's except for the ending and SZA. Shout out to SZA.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really watch much of it. I was on FaceTime pretty much the whole time. I was out at I was at an establishment. I was out in the patio smoking cigars, taking shots all halftime. So I didn't really watch much of it. Obviously, we all know what happened at the end, but other than that, I mean, yeah, I didn't really.
It could have been better.
Yeah. And people are gonna bitch about it no matter who it is. I mean, so that's just a matter of it. So
well, if you're playing for you're in the Super Bowl performing, play what most of the crowd knows. Play your most popular songs. People on their phones during halftime, not caring, and it is what it is.
When they hear Kendrick Lamar, they only want to hear the one song, and that's about it.
Pretty much.
So,
or it's old school. He had some, songs back in the day. Me growing up, Mad City,
Poetic Justice.
So yeah,
that was one of my favorite songs growing up.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was that. Yeah, in terms of the actual, and by the way, if you guys want to leave your comments on the halftime show, go ahead. If you want to drop a comment on the game itself, go ahead. I did not anticipate on this being the perennial ass whooping that this was, but it makes sense now that we look back at it. And I feel like that I may have fallen into the same trap that I did back in 2020 when I thought Kansas City was going to be Tampa Bay. But you know what? It makes sense. When you're able to get home with just 4, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles did it more ferociously than the way that Tampa Bay did. They were getting home at will. Just at will. And the way that they were able to do that was just outrageous. And I remember as I'm talking, so I'm watching the game here, and I'm sitting here having a conversation with Joe 412. You guys have seen him on the show from Draft Nation. Me and him got to texting throughout the game, and I texted him straight up. I said, I wonder if seeing this game is going to affect more pass rushers and defensive tackles going into the draft. And we're going to obviously get into the draft and all that, but it may not necessarily just involve the draft either. It's going to involve free agency as well. It's going to involve, I know, Hunter, I see you on Facebook, you were watching Myles Garrett over there in Cleveland. That's going to affect that raise his value that much more, because is there a team that's looking and say, hey, we need to bolster our defensive line as much as humanly possible. So let's go out and invest into this, whether it's going and trading for a Myles Garrett, whether it's going to trade for a Trey Hendrickson, whether it's going to get whoever. I don't know all the edge rushers and tackles off the top of my head that are free agents. How is that going to affect their market value? How's it going to affect this, that, and the third? There's a lot that goes in. The NFL is a copycat league. And so that's where you think, hey, we see this team in the way that they've been able to do it. Why not us try and do that as well?
Yep. Totally agree. Yeah, that all four, that Mahomes had no time in the pocket at all for most of the game at all. And then he made 2 turnovers. Cooper DeJean, happy birthday to you. Super Bowl pick 6. That must have been a great feeling. Great feeling to get that off of Patrick Mahomes. But congrats to the Eagles. They won. I was pretty happy about it. And then you got the pissy some Steelers fans. Oh, Kenny Pickett won a ring. Shut up.
That was me.
Yeah, you. It's okay. It's over. It's
I'm
okay.
just an expert hater. That's all.
I know you're an expert hater, but some people just, move on. It is what it is. I'd rather have the Eagles win than Kansas City personally. But now Kansas City has a lot of questions. Was Travis Kelce going to come back? That's a whole for another day. But
well, you know what? There is a conversation to be had that if there's going to be a year that you're going to lose Travis Kelce and want to replace him, this might be the year to do it in terms of the way that the tight ends are coming out of this draft.
Yep.
You have 4 potential tight ends that are going to go in the first potential 50 picks. You don't ever see that.
Nope.
You got Tyler Warren, you got Colston Loveland, you got Harold Fannin, and you got Elijah Arroyo, who's been flying up boards, especially after the Senior Bowl that he had from Miami. He's been doing himself very well. So I think, and I saw in a mock draft or two that they had him going in the first round. So it's like, wait a minute. So there's potential 4 tight ends that you can go after. So if you're Kansas City, this might just be the year that you want to go after. Say, hey, if he goes, sucks that you're going to lose an all-time great at the position, but we might be able to get younger here.
Yep.
And cheaper.
That's also very true as well. So, but Kelsey's not coming, might not come back. I think Hopkins announced his retirement earlier. So
which,
it makes
that
sense.
Was whatever.
It was happening, but overall, it's over. Into the offseason we go. We barely just got into the offseason, and we already had some news that happened earlier in the week.
Before we get to the news that broke earlier today, let's talk about something that happened in the city earlier in the week.
Yep.
So there was a certain fan. Some of you guys know him. Some of you guys don't know. I'm not going to put names out there.
No.
He is one of the guys that runs the Terrible Tailgate. Fuck it, I'll just say it. Kevin Adams.
Okay.
He was someone that he put out a billboard that says pretty much fire Tomlin. The standard is mediocrity. Fire Tomlin and sell the team, Rooney. And that got fans in an uproar for a multitude of reasons. One of those reasons we are not getting into. That is not happening. What we are going to get into, though, is the actual context of the billboard itself.
Yep.
I saw that, and my first reaction was, holy shit, he actually fucking did it. First off. Second off, I really don't think it's going to do what... I mean, we all know it's not going to do anything.
That was my first reaction.
They're not going to drive past it and say, yep, you know what, this billboard has done it. Mike Tomlin, you're fired. That's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
That's you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most storied franchises, up for sale. That's not happening.
No. My first reaction was why. I know he's upset. Whatever, the outcomes the past couple seasons that not winning a playoff game and all of that, but it's not going to do anything like you said. I think maybe just grab attention. Maybe it's part of it. I understand probably his frustrations, but it's not going to do anything. Not going to do anything with the team.
The one thing that it did do a great job of was getting people talking.
Yeah.
That did get people talking. But
for a little bit, I feel like.
Well, until this came out.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like you said, there wasn't anything that we're gonna like. It's not gonna do anything. Like, yes, it shows that the fans are frustrated at where the team has been over the last 7-8 years. I understand. We have been frustrated. Now, you could say that. Do you want to say that this is a direct quote from someone that you and me know in a group chat that we're in, that we are entitled? Are we in a quote unquote an entitled fan base?
Yeah. Well,
some might say yes, some might say no. But the way I look at it is, yes, it is nice that we've been able to go 500 or better for the better part of 20 years. Yeah. But there's certain teams in sports that the standard is championship or bust.
Yeah.
The Yankees have that. The Dodgers have that. The Ohio State Buckeyes have that. Alabama had that. Pittsburgh has that. There's just certain teams that now it's always, what it really means, championship or bust.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way that the Steelers run the organization and the way that the Steelers, they don't do rebuilds. They retool.
Mm-hmm.
The different story, if we're going, like, if we know for a damn fact, hey, we are in a retooling phase, although I personally would think this, a rebuild wouldn't be a bad idea.
I agree.
Especially when you're needing a quarterback, especially when you have holes on your team. It's not a bad thing that once in a while you have to do it. Every team has to go through a rebuild.
In any sport.
There's not one team in the NFL that has never, ever gone through a rebuild.
You can say that for any sport, major sport. They have to go through a rebuild at some point during their time.
Unless you're the Yankees.
I think we did definitely went through one. I will tell you that much. But
what, during World War I?
No.
During the War of 1812?
No. you know when. Anyways. But
back during 500 BC?
No. Oh man, the early 2010 Yankees were not good. Well, not past 2012, 13. I gotta remember what year it was. It was the Teixeira era. It was that old Mark Teixeira, and don't even want to get into it. Anyways, they went through a rebuild.
Yeah, every team has to go through a rebuild at some point. You can't get away with just retooling this and a third. You can't simply do it. You have to at times. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and do the 2016 Cleveland Browns and just gut everything to the absolute studs and be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am saying is it needs to happen, especially when you're going through a time where you're trying to find your franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Perfect example is the Chiefs right now. I think it's a really,
Let's not forget that not that long ago, 10, 12 years ago, they were a consistent top 5 pick. Yep. Let's not forget in 2013, and Andy Reid's first year as their head coach, they literally had the first overall pick.
Yep. And they went through a rebuild until they got Patrick. Well, Alex Smith was decent, and then Patrick Mahomes was the pick, and it changed the franchise.
Hey, and you know what's crazy too is that took some balls for them to do that too, because they had to
trade up.
Traded all the way from 27 to 10, and they gave up a first round pick next year, which ironically that pick ended up. I forget what that pick ended up being a part of, but it did help them get Josh Allen, But yeah, you have to go through it at some point of time. Going through retooling is just going to get you, like we've mentioned, just pure mediocrity.
And it just gets worse down the road, as we see. And we still have questions of who's the quarterback for the Steelers in 2025. And that goes into the next topic of some.
Now, before I'll say what I gotta say about what it is, and then because
I agree.
So there was a thing that came out today that I guess the Steelers inquired about Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Trevor Lawrence,
quarterback.
Now, two initial thoughts popped up in my head the moment I saw that. Number one, it's not happening. And it's not happening for a multitude of reasons. And number two, first off, it's due diligence season. Of course, there are teams probably trying to have due diligence on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, let's be honest here. If you're a GM and you're not trying to inquire about everything and anything, you're not doing your job.
Yep.
Because who's to say that he's not inquiring to see what it might take to get him for someone else?
Yep.
Cough, cough, possibly Matthew Stafford, depending on what's going on in LA. Now, that would be maybe a shorter term. That's a shorter term type of deal. But that's a whole different story. When it comes to Trevor Lawrence, the money is way too much.
Yep.
What are you going to have to give up for him?
First and a second, probably.
And in my opinion, I'm not a fan of Trevor Lawrence. And this is me excluding the hatred that I have for him for the bullshit that Clemson did to Ohio State in 2019. That's a different story for a different day. By the way, fuck you, Trevor Lawrence. But getting Sean Wade ejected and then running 60-some yards down our defense, fuck you. But that's a different story for a different day. But excluding all that, talking about the NFL version of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has had the first year, whatever. That was just an absolute shit show of a year. Urban Meyer that was awful. The second year, they go out there. He has a pretty good year. 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. They get to the divisional round of the playoffs. And then last year, he got hurt. He was out. And then the year before that wasn't great. So, to me, it's just not a... I don't see the value. The only thing that's nice about him is that he's young.
Yep.
But then there's a thought that creeps up into my head. And it's interesting that I say that because I was scrolling through TikTok earlier, and there was a Browns fan that popped up on my TikTok feed, and it was specifically for talking about this topic, the Trevor Lawrence Pittsburgh thing. And he goes, you know what would be annoying is the fact that the Steelers could potentially go get a former number 1 overall pick, and they're the type of team that could squeeze the potential out of them. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if the way that this offense is, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there could be some people who are true, know ins and outs of schematic football 101 that can prove it, say, hey, actually, no, this would be a very good fit. And then I would listen. But I don't think that this kind of system, this Arthur Smith system, would be great for Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think so either. As of right now, unless proven wrong, like you said. But he's not worth like I said, his contract's not good. Well, it's you just don't want to pay for it, and you have to go draft capital. Don't want to do that. It just raises. It gives you the question of, the Steelers are doing their due diligence, but do they trust more than do they trust the field to Russell Wilson more? What I think it leads to more questions of what are they. They're trying to weigh in their options.
Doesn't seem like Russell Wilson's coming back
for sure. And then I don't know if you saw. I saw Albert Breer's tweet a little bit earlier about he's predicting. Well, it's his prediction. He knows this word that the current quarterback for the Steelers is not on last year's roster. So it's going to be someone out there.
Was it him or was it Benjamin Albright that said
Albright. Albright. That's what it
Okay.
was. Benjamin Albright. But
yeah,
still.
I saw that.
Which, again, it gets you thinking of,
Mm-hmm.
are the Steelers going to
But, I mean, to be fair,
Mhm.
technically the only quarterback that they have on the roster right now is Skylar Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
So, technically, Justin Fields is still in that conversation.
It's true. But, just never know. But Trevor Lawrence, that I'm glad that got shut down so quickly. They don't even have a GM right now.
Exactly.
They got so many other problems they got to worry about.
Their defense is So if you guys don't know, real quick, I posted. So on Monday, I decided to do something I've never done before and do a post Super Bowl mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
I posted it on draft. It's on draftnation.com. It should be one of the top articles that are on the website. And spoiler alert, I had Jacksonville going defense because god awful they need defense.
They definitely do. Now Trevor Lawrence have a better defense if he was traded over here, 100%. But like you said, will he fit here through Arthur Smith's play style of offense? I don't think so. Don't think so as well. And then, of course, we found out Aaron Rodgers is going to be released probably after the 6-1, which I don't want Aaron Rodgers to begin with. Please don't do it. Hell no.
He retires.
You hope so.
But you see what Deshaun Elliott said?
He said keep him in a retirement home, which I agree. Keep that man in a retirement home. I'm sorry.
I saw someone post today that Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh is the most obvious thing ever.
I don't want it. And guess what? If he proves me wrong, how long is Aaron Rodgers going to play? How long he's going to play? God knows. Exactly. 1-2 years, maybe?
If you're going to go after an old quarterback like that, I'd rather trade whatever hell you got to give up for Matthew Stafford.
Exactly. There you go.
At the end of the day, more than likely, the best case scenario is going to be Justin Fields comes back.
Or you can draft a quarterback.
Oh. Oh. Huh. That's
I see a couple names that people got a little upset about.
That might be a little bit of an intel of mock drafts we have to show you guys here at some point before episode's over here.
Don't tell me he put. Oh my gosh! Don't tell me. I haven't seen the mock draft, but I already know where this is going.
I've seen it. So
I didn't think it was this mock draft. I thought it was something else.
You want to get into it?
If we have to.
I have it right here, put up, ready to go.
All right. Whose mock draft is this?
Field Yates from ESPN.
Field Yates. Don't tell me he put who. God.
All right. Here we go.
I'll wait till we get there.
So, number one, the Tennessee Titans go after Travis Hunter. There's been more and more talks about Tennessee potentially trading out of this pick. And I'm actually going to go through my mock draft that I posted and see if me and him match. So we do not. I think I understand Tennessee. First off here. Shout out Papa Sanchez has just signed Fields. I think that's what's going to end up happening. They're just going to sign him, and it's probably, unless you can trade for someone that we're not expecting, that's probably the best case scenario that you have.
Unless a Luka trade happens like in the NFL.
But I mean, one of these two names would not shock me whatsoever if they stay there.
Yep.
If they stay there. Number two, the Cleveland Browns, they will go get Abdul Carter. I actually just posted yesterday on X my thoughts on Abdul Carter. Posted my draft analysis on him. And there's a certain Browns fan that I know, shout out Manny. He has been advocating for this for the longest time, and he gets what he wants. The New York Giants, who are very little because they're sad that Saquon Barkley left and won a championship immediately after, they go after Cam Ward. Okay, so this is the first one that we match up on. Because the Giants need a quarterback badly. They're going to go after a quarterback here. And while I'm not a personal fan of Cam Ward, there is a reason why he's going to be a top 5 pick. Number 4. All right. So New England goes after Will Campbell. This is another match that we have. I think this is someone that people are questioning whether Will Campbell's going to kick inside and play guard. I think he has the capability of playing tackle. I talked to a Michigan offensive lineman that I know and said that he likes Will Campbell. So we shall see. I think there's the potential. I think there's a very good chance that they go after Will Campbell and they protect the offensive line or protect Drake May at all costs.
You don't think receiver most likely?
Not
for New England?
Not for New England, no. I think they need to worry about fixing the offensive line. They need to worry about trying to protect their quarterback at all costs.
Okay.
Number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Mason Graham. So this is actually, this is not a match. But I understand it. Jacksonville, anything defense will help because I had Jacksonville going with Will Campbell or I had them going with Will Johnson, the corner. But I can whatever you wanted to go with. I thought that maybe secondary was a little bit more of an issue in Jacksonville than defensive line. But again, defenses, they can take anything, and I like the upside that Mason Graham brings as pass rusher and as a run stuffer. He's a bully. Number 6, the Vegas Raiders go and get Shedeur. Now, if you, according to Shedeur Sanders himself in a video, he doesn't think that he's dropping all the way to 6.
Oh, buddy, get ready to be surprised.
In my opinion, I agree with this pick because that's also who I had. I don't think we really need to do much explaining. I think we know.
We know.
Number 7, the New York Jets go after Mikael Williams here. And
now this is an interesting. Now they know. Go for it.
Go ahead.
I said if they're releasing Aaron Rodgers, does it change a bit in their draft?
Me? I don't think so. I think they're going to go after someone in free agency as a stopgap.
Sam Darnold.
There's someone to be a stopgap, and I think they're going to try and look into next year. But they had them going with an edge rusher. I had them going with Mason Graham, so we both had the same idea of a defensive lineman. So we shall see. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers. Okay, I'm going with Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia. He has them going defense. I had them going offense with the first wide receiver off the board, Ted McMillan, because I personally thought that they need to go and get Bryce Young a weapon. You have Xavier Legette. He's fine, but he's not a number 1 wide receiver. Adam Thielen is, he's not the same Adam Thielen as he was before. Yep. And why not go and get yourself a young guy who has the area code of a catch radius, and in my opinion is very, very good. But they have him going defense here. I understand it too, because if you want to go and try to look at him as a possible off-ball linebacker, they understand the role. We saw Luke Kuechly and what they were able to do with him. Yep. But it's a little interesting pick.
Interesting.
But I mean, it does. The Panther defender reached more than 6 sacks in 2024, so that is something that needs to be fixed. But we shall see. Number 9, speaking of Ted McMillan, there you go. The New Orleans Saints go after him. Ironically, I had them going with Mikael Williams here, so we had a flip-flop. I had the Saints going defense. He has them going offense here. And it can make sense.
Saints are always one of those teams of who the hell are they going to fucking pick here?
They are the 2020s version of the Oakland Raiders from like the late 2000s and early 2010s and all that. You just never know who the hell they're going to take.
Because, but still Derek Carr there. I'll like, who's their quarterback? I'll be like, I'm just trying to like, they're still going to rock with him. Oh my goodness. It's just, it's a mess over there.
And then I also thought too that they would go defense too, because you got the Cam Jordan is 30 some years old. He's 36. They need to find someone. They were 20th in sacks, so they need to go after the quarterback as well. All right, here we go. We got a match. The Chicago Bears going after Kelvin Banks, another one of those guys that could potentially kick inside. And I actually think that would be the better case, is for someone that they could get that could play both guard and tackle, because you got Braxton Jones, who's a free agent after this year, who's a left tackle, have someone kick in because they have a need at guard. So why not kick him in guard for a year? And then if you want to have him play tackle, you can, or whatever you wanted to do with that. So I think there's versatility with this. So I like this pick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11. Okay, this is a little interesting. They have him going with Josh Simmons here from Ohio State. Now, I get it. I'm not mad at the pick. I have them going Walter Nolan here. I thought that they have a pretty big need at defensive line, and someone that has the potential that Walter Nolan has. I wouldn't think that San Francisco would want to pass that up, but I also understand it to a degree. In Josh Simmons, I love him. And I say that not because he's an Ohio State player. I love the film. Our boy Herb, I was talking to him, and I immediately was talking about how I loved the kid. I loved his game. His pass set is smooth, easy. He's what I'm. In fact, here, another conversation that I had with our boy Hunter, we were talking about rankings about offensive tackles. In my opinion, Josh Simmons is the best tackle in this draft. In my opinion. I say that over Will Campbell, over Kelvin Banks, over Josh Connerly, over Emory Jones, all of them. That's in my opinion, though. But we shall see. Number 12, the Dallas Cowboys. They go after Will Johnson. All right.
Be a good pick for them.
I'm not mad at this pick.
Be a good pick for them.
Although I still got the sweet feeling that they're just going to go with Genty.
That's another thing too, but this is like a much needed pick. Will Johnson dropping all the way to 12 is
interesting.
I think he was going to be that far down, personally.
Number 13, the Miami Dolphins go after Tyler Brooks, the guard from Alabama, which I like this. This is another one of the offensive linemen I really, really like in this draft. And I like him for numerous of reasons, and I had the same idea. I had them going with Ahmed Membu, the offensive tackle from Missouri, and even in my writing on here, I said I think Tyler Booker is someone that they could go after, but I think they have flexibility too, because I think Membu is another one of those guys that could play guard or tackle, and they have a need at right tackle, or you have a need at right guard. And then in a year or so, you're going to have a need at right tackle potentially, because Austin Jackson's going to be leaving here in a year or two. So you have that kind of flexibility, and you're going to want to protect Tua at all costs, especially with the concussion stuff that he's been dealing with.
Yep.
You need to protect him at all costs. Number 14, the Indianapolis Colts go after Tyler Warren. This is another match.
Mm-hmm.
Because this makes total sense. I think the potential with Tyler Warren is there. He's raw as a tight end prospect, but I think he has the chance to in a couple of years be a top 3 to 5 tight end in the NFL.
Be a good pick for the Colts. Yep.
I also would not be surprised if they go after a corner here.
I agree.
Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons go after Mike Green, the edge rusher from Marshall. Same idea. I had them going with Shamar Stewart. They were 31st. They were 31st at getting to the quarterback.
Wow.
Smells like an issue. Mike Green is someone that is fast as hell. His get off is fast. I don't think it's as fast as Abdul Carter, but Mike Green has a very fast get off. I just wonder if there's going to be. I think he's a little raw too. I think he's someone that's going to have to get stronger at the point of attack. But other than that, I like the kid. Speaking of Shamar Stewart, there you go. They have him going with an edge rusher. I thought they would go corner here because I thought that they would have, when you have someone like a Jade Barron, in my opinion, get someone like that fall to you, I think that would be someone that they would need. But can't get mad at going after. You can never have too many defensive linemen.
Nope. Oh, wow. It's a good pick.
I'll be upset. I'll be upset. I'll be honest. I'll be upset. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Number 18, the Seattle Seahawks go with Armand Membu, the off-the-tackle / guard from Missouri, which ironically, it's funny. So I posted my mock draft in a Facebook group that's for NFL draft because I had to post it. I couldn't post a link in there. They don't allow links and all that. So I had to just post it regular. I got killed for saying that the Seattle Seahawks were going to go with an offensive lineman. I got killed.
What do they want if it wasn't offensive lineman? Defense? Again?
They wouldn't say, all they're saying is, they're not taking an offensive lineman. Really? I think they are.
Did you see Geno Smith?
It's a game they know that they have on their team. They need offensive line help. I'm sorry, but it's happening. Oh, Lord have mercy. Number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go after James Pierce, the edge rusher from Tennessee. I'm not mad at this pick. I think I could definitely see this being the case. There's one pick that I would feel very confident in is that I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, depending on what happens with Levante David and company, they're going to go after Jihad Campbell from the off-ball linebacker from Alabama. That's just one of those picks that I feel ridiculously confident in.
Yeah, put some money on it.
I might, but James Pierce, don't mind this pick at all, though. So it's someone on defense. I'm not mad at it. Number 20, the Denver Broncos. They go after Ashton Genty. Interesting. I'm not mad at the pick.
Really?
I'm not mad at it. I'm a little surprised that here's my thought on this. If you're Denver, you have a tight end need, in my opinion. You know that another coach in your division wants a tight end. He loves tight ends. There's a tight end from that school that he coached at previously.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, Colston Loveland is someone that reminds me of a poor man's Travis Kelce, which correlates to another team in that division. If you get someone that you believe could have the potential to be a poor man's Travis Kelce or have somewhat potential to be that, and you've been getting killed by that for a decade, why not?
Yeah.
And it's a need in itself. That's just kind of where I looked at it. Because I think there's the versatility as well on where you can line him up, how you can use him, and this, that, and the third.
All right. What is it, man?
Who do you think it is?
It's a quarterback that I'm not going to like.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select...
Oh, my God. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. I want to know what Field Yates is really thinking.
I will look at it this way. It ain't Milrow. Even though there's not a chance of hell that Milrow
goes for. He's not going round one. Hell no.
He's going around two. I don't think he's going around three.
Oh my gosh! Another quarterback this high. I don't think there's more. I can't believe I'm saying this. There's more. I want to say there's more other needs, but
now, to be fair, I have not done my extensive research and watched the film on Jackson Dart. Now I think I might have to do that. Might just do it tonight. We shall see.
Okay. I think a receiver is a little more important.
Now, to be fair, let's not forget that it was Kevin Colbert who's the one that drafted.
I know.
Kenny Pickett, not Omar Khan.
Mm-hmm.
So Omar Khan has a clean slate in terms of drafted quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he's not going to draft one at the first round.
We shall see.
I say that confidently.
And then here goes this pick. What was I just talking about a couple picks ago? I was just saying that the Chargers wanted a tight end, and here you go. They get themselves a tight end. Now, I thought they would go defense here, but yet again, it's not surprising. If you thought that Jim Harbaugh was going to let Colson Loveland or any Michigan player pass up here that was available, that wasn't happening, especially when it's a tight end, when we know that Jim Harbaugh loves tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And we know, this was just happening. This was I don't care if a team offers me 10 first-round picks. I know that's not possible, but if someone offered me whatever, nope, we're running that card up in 30 seconds kind of deal. Number 23, the Green Bay Packers, they go after Maxwell Harrison, the corner from Kentucky. I had them going with a corner too. I had them going with Siobhan Revel, who I actually just watched last night. By the way, Siobhan Revel, Joey Porter Jr. Reminds me a lot of Joey Porter Jr. Long, tall, lanky. Could be a press corner, but very handsy. But he also, Revel also has a durability issue. Because he is coming off an ACL. He also has some some injuries that happened in high school. I know he had like a fractured skull in 10th grade from a car accident. He had a broken collarbone in high school. So there are red flags in terms of the durability issues there. But I agree. They need to go after a corner.
Yep.
So I'm not mad at this pick. Number 24, the Minnesota Vikings go after Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon. This was someone that I started to really become excited about at the Senior Bowl. And I thought that they would go with the safety. I thought someone like a Malachi Starks from Georgia would be the case here based on the fact that they were 28th against the pass. But and I know that they know the impact of having a good safety because they've had a Harrison Smith for a decade plus. And I know he's getting old, so I just thought that they would go there. But, I mean, yet again, can't have too many defensive linemen.
No, you cannot.
Number 25, the Houston Texans go after Luther Burden. Hey, we got a match here. I thought the same thing. Stephon Diggs is a free agent. Luther Burden reminds me a lot of Stephon Diggs. They need to get CJ Stroud a weapon outside of Nico Collins. So there you go. And Tank Dell's he's not going to play next year. So there you go.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. That whole play was, ooh, boy. Whew, that was rough.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a back-to-back matches. The Rams going after Josh Connerly, the offensive tackle from Oregon. They need it. There's questions about Matthew Stafford. If he is going to be there, it doesn't matter whether it's him or whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be for them. They need someone to go and protect that quarterback. And here you go. Like he says, when you have one of your best games against Abdul Carter, who's potentially a top 2 pick, that's doing something for you.
Yep.
Number 27, the Baltimore Ravens go after Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, okay.
Wow.
I would hate this pick. Not for Baltimore, for myself.
Yeah, I know. I know. Because the secondary means getting better.
He also reminds me of a younger Minka.
Wow.
Don't need that. Do not need that. Number 28, the Detroit Lions going after Greg Zabel, the guard/center from North Dakota State. You want to talk about someone who had themselves a Senior Bowl. That man right there did everything right for himself. He was phenomenal at the Senior Bowl. He did himself very well. And I'm not mad at this. Now, I'm not mad at the pick, although I feel like maybe they would have wanted to go after defensive linemen. But yet again, who's to say that even Detroit may have this pick?
Yep.
If you get my drift.
Yep.
Number 29, the Washington Commanders go after Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver from the world famous national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. I actually had them going with one of Emeka Egbuka's teammates. I thought they would go with the offensive lineman and go with Donovan Jackson here, but hey, you get two. It's better than one Ohio State receiver. Two Ohio State wide receivers.
This is the guy I want, personally, as of right now.
Yeah, same here. I'm right there with you. Number 30, the Buffalo Bills go after Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle from Michigan. I did not have the same player, but the same position. I had them going with Derek Harmon, but in his case, Derek Harmon's already off the board. So Kenneth Grant here. They need someone. One of the biggest issues that they've had against Kansas City in the playoffs have been they can't stop the run.
Nope.
They have 3 defensive tackles this year that are going to become free agents, and it just smells like a position of need.
Yep.
And this draft is loaded with guys.
Wow.
And you want to talk about a big butt that you could just stuff in the middle of that defense and stop the run? Here you go. There you go. Speaking of Donovan Jackson, there you go. Kansas City at number 31. Kansas City Chiefs go after Donovan Jackson, which clearly, you know what's funny? In my mock draft, and I had fully admitted it too, in my mock draft, I had them going with a corner. But after that, I immediately said, nope, that pick's not happening. They're going off at the lineman somewhere, some way.
Someone.
Somewhere, some way. They're going with the offensive lineman in round 1. And there you go. So you're not going to hear me complain.
Wow, they need it. They definitely need it.
Need is an understatement. Number 22, the Philadelphia.
32.
Or 32.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eagles just stay good.
Okay.
Well, I had to.
There's that. But just for Jared to look at it one more time.
No, let's not look at it one more time.
Here, I'll zoom it in for you.
Don't. Oh my god. It's so annoying.
Can we zoom it in even more? Can we zoom it in even more?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I'll watch him tonight and I'll give you the rundown. How about that?
Sounds good. Still not going to change my mind.
What if I say that he's going to be a hell of a what if I watch him and say, you know what, he actually has a chance to be a really good quarterback?
I have to see it to believe it.
All right. We'll have to see.
But, oh my gosh.
Other than that, there's your... Just for that, I'm just going to start... I'm gonna find someone to make a one of those jersey swaps of Jackson Dart in a Steeler uniform, and I'm just going to start sending it to you all the time.
No, let's not do that this year. You know what the Steelers need. We know what the Steelers need more. They need a receiver, or they need a D lineman, or a corner. And they need more. That's it. Unless Omar Khan says looks at him a lot during the combine and whatever the draft meets. We'll see. Combine will be coming up here soon.
We shall see. But until then, I do want to say, I think this is it for this episode. I do want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you were on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you were on X, make sure to like, retweet this. Go and follow both of us. I'm right here. He's right over there. Go follow us both. And if you're on my Facebook, well then, what's good, everybody?
What's good?
And until then, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. And until then, peace out. Hello.